Welcome to another season of Hoda's Career Info, the program where career professionals from across the globe meet to empower you to succeed. This program is brought to you by Right Career Fit. Listen and learn, and remember to have that very important career conversation with a career professional.
Once you're in the mid-career part of your life, you tend to forget about what's important. You kind of get into a habit of kind of just rolling through the motions of going to work every day and expecting that's the way it is. It's really important for us to be able to step away and spend quiet time by ourselves to really get a stronger sense of who we are as individuals. Career is much more than just work. It's life, right? And it's more of an umbrella concept in my mind. And retirement is part of that.
Thank you for joining me in Hoda's Career Info, your career program where guests from across the globe share career tips and personal stories to help you successfully navigate your career. I am Hoda, your host. I look forward to another season of career chats with international professionals who will inspire you to take your journey to the next level. My guest today on Hoda's Career Info is Brian Lambier. Brian is the founder and president of Career Vitality Services, a Canadian career development organization based in my hometown, Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Career Vitality Services offers high-quality career counseling, career coaching, and retirement transition coaching, as well as workshops, seminars, and courses to individuals and organizations. Brian is a career counselor and coach with over 30 years of experience in the human resources, career, and retirement coaching fields. He has a Social Work Diploma, a Bachelor of Arts degree in Psychology and Communications from Wilfrid Laurier University in Waterloo, Ontario, Canada. He's also a career development professional and a graduate of the Career Development Certificate Program at the University of Calgary. Brian is a member of the Career Development Association of Alberta, as well as a strong interest inventory certified coach. Brian's also a certified retirement coach and is certified in both the Retirement Success Profile and the Life Options Retirement Assessment tools. The Career Vitality Services team believes that the cornerstone of service is to help you discover your passion so you can live your dream. Thank you for joining me and Brian. Stay tuned as Brian unveils the value of getting out of the habit of just rolling through the motions. Welcome, Brian Lambier. I was very glad to meet you at the conference, and I'm very excited that you have decided to join me in my program today. So thank you for that. And right away, I will start with asking you for what we discussed at the conference, which is the hashtag or a term that describes the work that you do.
Right.
And how would you define it from your perspective? So not the Google search or even what ChatGPT would come up with these days, but Brian's definition of it.
Well, that's great. Well, first off, thank you for the opportunity to come and speak with you today, Hoda. It's great. It's always fantastic to speak with other professionals in our field, and because I always learn a great deal from everybody that I speak with. So, and that kind of ties into what my word is, or my hashtag is. And for me, it can be summed up in a couple ways. First, the first word is, or the first phrase is, be curious. And I'll explain that in a few minutes. Or it could be just deemed as curiosity. And the reason I've chosen curiosity or be curious is because I think it's an essential part of what we do as career professionals. from my perspective, in terms of the services that I provide, I spend lots of time up front with people to really get a chance to know who they are as individuals, and including their backgrounds, their culture, the different components of who they are as people, so I can really start to create that picture of who they are and be able to support them to dig a little deeper on some of the things that come out of our discussions. From the client's perspective, it's really important that I am really supporting them to not just throw away information once they receive it through the process, not just to discount things. And I really encourage people to look deeper. So, for example, if we're conducting some career assessments, and from those career assessments, a potential occupation comes out on a list, and they look at it and go, I would never do that. And that happens a lot in career assessment, as you probably know. And so from my perspective, what I try to do is I want to support people to look a little deeper at that occupation, get rid of the occupational title itself, and dig a little deeper to really explore what that occupation is, what the skills required are, what the different aspects of it are, to see if it actually truly resonates, or even one part of it resonates. Because even if they don't go in that direction, there may be something that they can pull from that can be included in future decision making about other careers that they may be interested in pursuing. So that's kind of a capsulization of what that looks like for me.
Thank you. And yes, curiosity is so important. Like, we talk about lifelong learning, and how are you going to learn if you're not curious about what you'd like to learn? Right. And again, also from a career practitioner perspective, it's important for us to be curious. And I'm glad you explained how it fits within the work that you do. I do believe that stories matter, and part of our curiosity as career practitioners is we dig deep and try to get to know the stories of our clients. Mm-hmm. So I am wondering, would you be able to share with the audience your story, and perhaps within your story that you've traveled so far, embedded message that you'd like to share with the audience?
Sure. I could give it a try. Well, I've only been in the field of career development for about 11 years, 12 years. No, I should qualify that, because I was in the field prior to starting my own business for about 5 years. So I guess it's been about, 16, 17 years. But I started off originally going to school to become a social worker. And I had a real interest in helping people. I ended up going to Mohawk College in Hamilton, Ontario, where I'm originally from, and graduated from there a very, very long time ago, like 40 years ago. And I worked in the field, primarily working with people with disabilities in a wide array of areas. And I learned a lot in that, working with people with disabilities, because it really taught me one of the very basic premises of supporting people to make change in their lives. And that's really about the whole concept of seeking to understand and really spending the time, which ties into the curiosity hashtag that we talked about earlier. And spending the time with them to really understand who they were, where they're from, where they are now, and where they want to go in their lives, and providing them with the encouragement and the support they needed to move forward in a positive way. So I did that, worked in a wide variety of occupations in that field for about, a long time, 20 plus years, right? My last job in that field, I worked as a vice president of a company here in Calgary, and worked in that organization for 16 years. And then I decided that I just needed a change. I was getting really tired of what I was doing, and took some time off. Took about 16 years, about 6 months off. And what I did from there was I just kind of took some time to reflect and to really get to know myself again. Because I think what happens once you're in the mid-career part of your life, you tend to forget about what's important. You kind of get into a habit of kind of just rolling through the motions of going to work every day and expecting that's the way it is. And when I quit, it really kind of made me aware that I really didn't want to go back into that particular field. I wanted to do something to utilize the skills I had to be able to move forward in a positive way. and to create a career that had a sense of satisfaction for myself, and could also utilize the skills that I had developed over the years. So I took the time. I kind of did my own career development. I wasn't in the career field at that point. I read lots of books. I read the Parachute book, which is kind of a standard book for a lot of people when they first are wanting to make change, as well as a number of other books. And then I decided, well, maybe I'll go back and get my degree, my master's degree, because I had at that point I had already gotten a degree in psychology and communications from Wilfrid Laurier in Waterloo, Ontario. And I decided, no, I didn't really want to do that. I just wanted to kind of work. Because at that point I was like 47, 48 years of age, and really needed to sink my teeth into something new. So I took the time, decided to go and talk to some people about the possibility of becoming a career coach or a career development worker. I talked to a couple of professionals here in Calgary. I kind of asked them some pretty blunt questions if they felt that I had the skill set to be able to transition into the field successfully. They gave me some really great advice about the program at the University of Calgary and some of the different courses I would need to take to be effective in the field. And then I started taking the courses, and I loved it. I met lots of great people that were in the field, and I decided to stay in it. And then from there, I got this job, my very first job in the field, working with youth through what is called a Skills Link program through the federal government. And I ran an assessment center here in Calgary that assessed people that had barriers to employment, and then supported them to access programming around the city, and also supported a number of different case managers that worked for me to manage those caseloads in an effective way and support them on an ongoing basis, their clients on an ongoing basis. After 5 years, I left and then started my own company. And so here we are today. Now it's 11 to 12 years later. So that was in 2011. So I guess, 12 years later.
12 years, and congratulations on that. That's very exciting.
Yeah.
I appreciated how you pulled out the reflection process. I really stress that usually with my young clients that I work with, is that you need to get into the habit of that reflection so that you are regularly reflecting on what you're doing, but also in the beginning to find out what is important to you and to look at that skills that you have and that you need to develop. So I appreciate you highlighting that.
Yeah.
And now you're happy where you're at.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you about the reflection a lot. We're not really, I don't think we're taught very well in our schools and in life in general to do that. And I think it's really important for us to be able to step away and spend quiet time by ourselves to really get a stronger sense of who we are as individuals, and to understand, what we would like to aspire to, but what we're also maybe afraid of aspiring to, and to seek the support we need to be able to, and the resources we need to be able to make that positive change. So I appreciate you saying that.
Absolutely. And stepping out of your comfort zone and going on your own.
That's a whole different ballgame. Sometimes it's good to jump, and then see where you land, right? Which is partly what I did in a way. So.
But now you have your own practice. Career Vitality is the name. Yeah. And I did go on your website, careervitality.ca, and I noticed that you offer different services. So including retirement transition coaching, career counseling, and career coaching.
Right.
For the sake of the audience, would you be able to tell us the difference between career counseling and career coaching within your services? So if I went to you.
Yeah. Well, there's a wide array of different types of definitions of these two things, career coaching and career counseling. But from my perspective, career counseling is really about the assessment process and defining who the individual is, and helping them, supporting people to make change by addressing any concerns that they may have, to overcome barriers, for example, that they may be facing. And the coaching aspect which works hand in hand with them, with it is more related to the idea of more nuts and bolts activities that I would call to develop a resume, for example, to prepare effectively for an interview, to do an appropriate job search, to develop a network, a social network, a career network for themselves. It's more of that nuts and bolts where it's pretty concrete, and taking what you've learned within the counseling process to that next level. So that's how I would articulate it. Now, I'm not sure if everybody would agree with that, but that's how I differentiate the two.
Brian, we have seen major changes happening in the world of work today. So many things are happening so quickly, especially post-COVID.
Yeah.
From your perspective, what can you tell us about the changing world of work today?
Yeah, that's another good question. And again, it's something that's really evolving over time and will continue to evolve over time. The whole idea around artificial intelligence right now is a pretty big change that's going on in work, and how that's going to be utilized effectively in an ethical way. You know, the other big part of the change with work comes down to where we're working and how we're working, and the whole idea, in my mind, the whole idea of what a team looks like. You know, when I was working for other people, you know, and not running my own business, what I found was that work was more centered in the place you actually went to. You actually went there, you did your work. You may work elsewhere in the community, but you actually went to a physical place. And now work seems to be much more focused on working at a place that works best for you. And you see a lot of this now with and particularly post-COVID, with going to more of hybrid sort of models of working, remote styles of working, particularly with younger people, and a desire to do that. Now, obviously, there's some real challenges with that for some people, because it's not an easy thing to work by yourself away from an office and a team environment where you're missing out on all that support that you would usually get, even though they may have access to you through the internet, through Zoom and what have you. You miss out on a lot. Those are kind of the two big ones. The other one is that people are making change, that people are constantly making change in their career. They're no longer just sticking with work for a long-term basis. It's more about what I can do to grow my skills and to add to my value that I can provide to whoever I seem to be employed with at that time. It's not always about the commitment to the employer anymore. It's more about the commitment to yourself. And I think that's a major change that a lot of people are coming through. And a lot of the other part of it is a lot of people that are wanting to make change at the point that I made change in my career, like in their 40s, and even in their 50s. I'm getting calls from people that are in their 50s wanting to make wholesale career changes because they're tired of what they're doing.
Yes, and I agree with you on all the points you mentioned, and particularly that last one. You know, we hit our 40s and 50s, and we start questioning, okay, is that what life is all about? My last question to you, Brian, is we continually remind our clients of the value of stepping out of their comfort zone and embracing new challenges or opportunities. You took on one of them by starting your own business. What are you hoping to accomplish now, or perhaps in the near future, that you would like to share?
Yeah, well, again, as you mentioned, I'm involved with a lot of different things in my business. You know, the career coaching, retirement coaching. I do a lot of workshops. I teach at the University of Calgary in the career development program. I develop workshops for other organizations. I do a lot of public speaking in different situations. I just recently did a talk for the retirement school teachers of Ontario to 1,000 people. Now, it wasn't in person. It was a webinar, so I didn't actually see 1,000 people, but they were seeing me, and also do a number of talks with organizations that provide the other side of retirement coaching, for example, which is a big part of what I do as an organization, and another part of our careers that people forget about. People think we leave work and we move into retirement. But career is much more than just work. It's life, right? And it's more of an umbrella concept in my mind. And retirement is part of that. So, and many people work in retirement. So, will continue to do so. My thought is that I'm wanting to really continue to get out there and do more public speaking events with people. I really like the face-to-face ones much more than the other ones, although I will do the other ones as well, just because I like to engage people in the conversation when I'm there. But it's not about me just getting up and talking like a stiff, right? It's more about me chatting with people that are and getting feedback from them in terms of what I'm speaking about, so it's a little bit more labor intensive process, but in the end, most people really enjoy it. And so I'm going to be doing more of that. I'm going to continue to do career coaching and career counseling and the assessment stuff, the individual retirement stuff. I'm still continuing to teach at the University of Calgary, and because I teach retirement as well as the career development certificate program there. And so I was doing this morning, I was grading papers with people. So, yeah. So, because I enjoy that part of it as well in terms of meeting young people that are coming up into the field or older people that are making transition into the field from other careers, right? So it's really exciting. I learned so much from them I'm sure as much as they learned from me. Yeah. So the regular stuff is going to continue, but more so with the retirement, add some more public speaking events around that part of the business. Yeah, that's kind of it. I'm kind of at a nice, comfortable zone with what I am doing. So.
Well, you have a lot going on, but that's what happens when you have your own practice. You wear many hats. And
well, you know that, right? So it's a pretty common theme for all of us. Yeah.
Yeah. And you've got your challenges with the public speaking, try to expand that. So definitely taking on a new challenge. I wish you the luck. People should check out your website. And I thank you for your time. These were all the questions that I had prepared for you, Brian. Was there anything else you would like to add?
No, I think we've covered a lot in a very short period of time. So hopefully I've answered all your questions to the level that you were hoping to be them answered for, and I look forward to seeing you again sometime down the road.
Well, you definitely shared a lot. You have a lot of experience to share your experience. I really appreciate that, and I thank you for your time, Brian.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Bye for now.
You've been listening to Hoda's Career Info, the program where career professionals from across the globe join me to empower you to succeed. My guest today on Hoda's Career Info was Brian Lambier. You can connect with Brian on LinkedIn or on his website, careervitality.ca. My conversation with Brian focused on the meaning of career. I urge you to take the time to follow Brian's tips and aspire to step away and spend some quiet time by yourself to really get a stronger sense of who you are as an individual. Please remember that you can listen to Hoda's Career Info since it's also dropped as a podcast. To let me know if you are interested in an opportunity to talk about your work, you can send me a direct message on my website, rightcareerfit.com, where you can also sign up for my newsletter to stay up to date on the latest episodes. Don't forget to share your feedback in the comments section. Remember to like, subscribe, share, and follow me on social media for more career info. I am your host, Hoda, and until next time, stay inspired and keep moving forward in constructive ways.